If you're struggling to decide who deserves your precious resources in raids, this video is for you. Today I'm revealing 7 champions that are absolutely worth maxing. From total lifesavers to underrated MVPs that don't get enough love. I've used every one of these champs personally, and trust me, they punch way above their rarity. Make sure you drop a like, hit the sub button, and let me know in the comment section down below who is your favorite underrated champ. Let's dive in. Hi Raiders, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is all about the champions that are worth maxing. And that includes some rares, but some epics as well. In this video, I will focus more on the rares, but I will also include some noticeable epic mentions here. So let's get started. We're getting straight into it. And the first champion on our list today is a champion from the Dwarves faction. I currently have this champion. I haven't equipped any artifacts on him, but I have a friend. We're playing together and he has Kurzad on his team, so I was being able to test out this guy and I really found out that he's a hidden gem. He has really solid kit for a rare champion, and actually he relies on great buffs and debuffs to support your team. If you want to become a part of my squad in raid, click my link in the description to get a free legendary as well as 4 free epics as you level up. Let me show you how. Step number 1, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Step number 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step number 3, launch raid and complete the tutorial. Simple as that. Step number 4, go to your inbox and claim your first champ. That's all you need to do to get a free Karato as well as Ugo, Rector Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage. Don't let this slide and click my link right now. We're gonna jump straight into his 8-3. So he places a 50% increase accuracy buff, followed by attacking all enemies to place a 30% decrease defense debuff for 2 turns. If this skill is fully booked, the chance to place that 30% decrease defense will go to 100, and the damage will also increase with 20%, and this skill is really what makes him stand out. You can really use that potential and those specific abilities in Iron Fortress and also the Hydra Clan boss. The other good thing about Kurzad is that on his A1 he places a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns, which is also really valuable ability against Iron Fortress because it would actually stop the boss from increasing his turn meter. What is really important to note here when it comes to Kurzad is that you really need to focus on his accuracy, because as you can see right here, his starting accuracy is 10, which is pretty low, and since he relies most on his buffs and debuffs, we're gonna need a lot of accuracy for this champion. Of course, speed is something that's also needed, critical rate, and as much as HP as possible. Enough for Kurzad, guys. We're moving on to the second champion from today's list. So the next champion is actually from the Demon Spawn faction. It's a rare one, and I actually have him on my roster for now. Next I'm gonna show you how I have equipped Abyssal, but I think he really needs some changing regarding his equipment right now. He would definitely rock in a stun set, but for this moment I haven't equipped Abyssal in a stun set, and this is one of my mistakes here. So basically he is a really valuable champion that I think it's not only good for beginner players out there, but also for late game content. Since his kit is really valuable on his A1, he attacks all enemies, it's an AoE attack. He also places a block buff debuff for 2 turns, and if the skill is fully booked, the chance goes up to 30, and I personally think that this skill is really valuable against waves and in many different content in the game. Also, on his A2, he heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, so he is a healer as well. He heals all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. If this skill is fully booked, also the heal go up with 25%, which means the healing is gonna be 40 when you fully book this skill. It's actually not the strongest heal that you can get from a champion, since it's based on his allies' max HP, and we normally don't do that. We want to be based on his max HP to scale the most out of it, but Still, he has some healing. On his A3, Words of Madness, he places a 30% increased defense buff and 25% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, and it's also on a 4-turn cooldown. I know it's not a lot, like 30% and 25%, it's like a weak version of those buffs, but actually it still holds a lot of value because not many rare champions out there has those specific 2 buffs on the team. And I think that in many teams he can be your main debuffer. And finally, his speed aura increases ally speed in faction crypts by 16%. I think this champion is really valuable in faction wars. He is a great control champion with his A1, and overall he brings healing and he's a great champion. Now I promise to show you guys how I have built this champion, so let me quickly check that. So this is how his build looks for now. If I have to be honest, there are some things that I could change. For example, his speed is kind of low right here. His accuracy is quite a decent number, but his HP and defense could be much more higher here. But yeah, I would probably give him a stun set, but it really depends on what do I have. But we would see. For now, I would leave it as it is. And now I want to move on to the next champion on today's list, guys. So the next champion is a champion from the Barbarians faction. She is a rare champion. I recently got her. I personally tested her only in campaign and some of the dungeons, and I actually think she is worth taking up to level 60. On her A1, she starts strong. It's an AoE attack, and she has additional 25% of inflicting a critical hit, which means if you manage to get her critical rate up to 75%, she would carry your team. Next up, we have A2, which has additional 25% of inflicting a critical hit and will ignore 75% of the target's defense. This combined with her A1 would smack against your enemies. She starts with an AoE attack, and then on her A2 she will ignore 75% of the target's defense. On her A3, we have additional 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit and also 75% chance of fully depleting the target's turn meter. A3 combined with A1 would fully smack because she would start with an AoE attack, and then on her A3, she has 75% chance of fully depleting the target's turn meter. She is a very strong free-to-play friendly nuker, and she's actually quite easy to get. I think I got her from an ancient shard. Namely, because of this A3, she can be exceptionally good in Spider's Den, Fire Knight, and also Faction Wars, of course. She also has this specific aura of increasing the ally critical rate in all battles by 12%, which combined with her other abilities really hits hard. This champion can also really help you in Doom Tower, in the secret rooms. She can be really useful there to get your champion fragments. And yeah, that's all about it. The fourth champion is actually a champion that I really want to get on my team because he is absolutely great, and this is namely Tagoar. He is an excellent support champion that can really help your team in content like Clan Boss, Hydra, the arena as well. On his A1, he attacks one enemy 2 times and places a 60% increased defense buff for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest current HP. His A1 is really great for keeping your squishier champions alive longer. His A2 is an AoE attack, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP. The fact that he is healing based on his max HP is just wonderful. This specific skill can be really valuable against bosses and waves. Next, on his A3, Rise and Fight, he revives all dead allies with 30% HP and places a shield on them equal to 20% of his max HP. He revives all your allies, and in the same time he places that extra layer of protection, which is really helpful because that really prevents your allies just falling down again the moment they are revived. Finally, his passive decreases the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. This just perfectly goes with his A3 and is really valuable for your team to stay alive longer in the fight. I just think he is an amazing epic support champion that I really want to get on my team, but unfortunately I still don't have Tagoar. I really hope in the near future I would get him. He's not that easy to get, of course, if you're not playing with promo codes, but unfortunately I don't have a promo code for Tagoar. But as you guys might already know, my promo link will give you Tagoar at level 45, so don't miss out on this because it's totally worth it. And if I knew about this promo link at the beginning, I would have used my own, man. I'm serious, because Tagoar is an amazing champion that is definitely worth maxing and taking out to level 60. So yeah, let's move on to the next one on this list for today. The next champion is an incredible defense champion, specifically for clan boss, but not also. And I'm talking namely about Marquess. So Marquess is actually very underrated champ. I think not many people out there talk about her. On her A2, this is an AoE attack. She has 35% chance of placing a 15% weakened debuff for 2 turns and deals extra damage to enemies with the weakened debuff. This is actually one of the strongest AoE attacks in the entire game. Of course, you have to set it up the right way, but still it's a really high damage AoE attack, and this is actually what really makes her valuable. But not only that, because on her A1 she has 25% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. And finally, freeze solid, she has 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn on a 4-turn cooldown if the skill is fully booked. She has high control. She could be very insane high damage dealer if you manage to build her right. And I personally think that she's not only good for beginner players out there, but also she is valuable in late game content. So in my opinion, she's definitely worth taking up to level 60. Of course, you have to watch out her stats. You have to give her as much as critical rate as possible, as well as defense and speed. I think those are the 3 most important stats for this lady right here. And now enough for Marquess. We know a lot about her now. So the 5th champion is actually a champion that I recently got, and I'm currently preparing to be part of my Hydra clan boss team. I'm still preparing for this fight because I definitely know I'm not ready for this, but I really hope that this champion would actually be really helpful and useful against Hydra. And this is Selinia Nightcloak. So jumping onto her A3, she attacks 3 times at random, and before attacking she also places that 25% increase accuracy buff on herself for 2 turns, and each hit has a 50% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. That form of accuracy enhancement can be really valuable for your progression in the game. Now, her A3 is an AoE attack. She attacks all enemies whilst granting a 65% chance to increase the duration of any HP burn debuff. This is not only beneficial to herself, but also to her allies to keep them active as long as possible. And finally, on her A1, she attacks 1 enemy and heals herself 10% of her max HP, heals herself again by 20% of their max HP instead when attacking a target under HP burn debuff. That was enough finally, but now finally moving on to her passive. Her passive actually boosts her turn meter upon each burn activation by 5%, which is great for cycling through turns faster. And her passive combined with her A1 is really keeping her sustainable. I think she can actually help me out against Hydra clan boss, and also faction wars and Spider's Den are also areas in the game that she shines out the most. And now moving on to our final boss for today. This is gonna be a champion that I recently got up to rank 6. We're currently standing at level 42, but I'm gonna get her up to level 60 as soon as possible. I cannot go without mentioning my good old friend Rector Drath, man. Rector Drath is definitely one of the best epic support in the whole game, and I personally think that if anybody deserves your resources, this is gonna be Rector Drath. She's super versatile. She is a late game revival reviver. She has unique skills. She has a lot of healing. She has that revive ability. Also, her passive gives your team additional healing, which is absolutely great. She is helping me out in many game areas, and I am so happy that I finally got Rector Drath and decided to take her up to rank 6. She definitely deserves it. And you know, her aura also increases ally resistance in Doom Tower battles by 55, which is completely insane, man, given the fact that she is a reviver. Also, make sure if you're gonna build Rector Drath, make sure you build her up with enough resistance. As you can see right now, her resistance is kind of low, and that is what I'm trying to correct regarding her build right here. The other stat that is really important for Rector Drath is definitely gonna be speed, defense, and HP. Those are the stats that you need to focus when building Rector Drath. She definitely needs some changes right here. Specifically, I'm aiming for higher resistance right here, because for now I'm not satisfied with the number I see here, but we would see, guys. I really have to focus more on the artifacts and farm Dragon's Lair and Fire Knight as much as possible, because for now I don't have much of good artifacts, but I'm still doing my best. I'm trying my best at least, and we'll soon get there. So if you're struggling in campaign, Doom Tower, or dungeons, one of these picks might actually be your next MVP. Did I miss a champion you guys love? Let me know in the comment section down below. Smash that like button if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more champions breakdown and free-to-play advice. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Good luck on your grind, and remember, it's not about who you pull, but who you build. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye!